Hey, rock people out there! Welcome back to another Musical People and Journeys rock review show where we are reviewing all the latest rock albums. And welcome to my crew. I'm your host Nigel, but welcome to Paul, to Trish, to Dave, to Ian. Woohoo!
Hello!
Okay, what's the show all about? If you're tuning in for the first time, well, we review all the latest rock albums. So today we're reviewing two albums, put them head to head. Which one will we buy? Which one will we buy? Where will we spend our hard-earned money? Rate them out of 5 each. Will they get over 20 into our and inducted into our Hall of Fame? And bearing in mind, we review all sorts of rock, from indie rock to pop rock to hard rock. We reviewed a lot. So, who have we got here today? Wow, we've got an exciting lineup. Or have we? We have got Beach Fossils and their album Bunny, and they are up against Noel Gallaghers High Flying Birds and their new album Council Skies. Right, well, as an introduction, who the heck are Beach Fossils? Beach Fossils are an American indie rock band from Brooklyn, New York, formed in 2009. They're currently signed to Bayonet Records, having previously signed to indie label Captured Tracks. The group's five band members currently includes founder David Passeur, Passeur, vocals, guitar, Jack Doyle, Smith bass, Tommy Davison guitar, and Anton Hochheim drums, and they're known for their lo-fi atmospheric sound, professional nostalgic lyrics, and Passeur's laid-back vocal style. Okay, Beach Fossils then. Let's start with Trish on this one then. Beach Fossils. Trish, Bunny. Now, you're a lovely little cuddly bunny. Did this resonate with you?
Okay. Beach. Yes, this album should be listened to when lying on a beach, enjoying the sunshine, as it will make you fall asleep. Fossil. Yes, I am an old fossil, and this album is dream pop to make you float away. It's in the background kind of music you would have on, and if you like that kind of music, then I'm sure you will love this album. It's just not my bag. It's not rock. It didn't take me anywhere, not even to the beach. So I would be taking a bunny hop past this.
Wowzers. Paul, you big old bunny, you. Actually, no, let's be honest about it. You're more of a fossil than a bunny. Let's crack on then. Paul, what do you think of Beach Fossils?
Well, I'll be slapped across the face twice in one second. It's something to get used to. All right, after 2 years of contemplating, Dustin Pace's Beach Fossils have clearly stepped away from the up-tempo, punk-adjacent pop that put them on the map. Instead, Bunny is a pop album with a coming-of-age narrative of self-discovery. Although the production levels are pristine and clear on this album, the music and tone of singing is as laid-back as a walrus on an iceberg. Which may be interesting for some, but for me, I'd rather be swimming with the sharks and killer whales.
Now, we all know who the shark in the room is. His nickname is Sharky, of course. Mate, would you be rather singing with the walruses, or yeah? Well, I don't know where I was going with that analogy. I kind of lost the plot. Ian, come on. What do you think of your fossil? You.
I was thinking for a moment, has Dave changed his nickname? And then you said it was me. So, yeah, of course it's me, Sharky. Blimey. I mean, Sharky, Jaws, right? Jaws is a fantastic film. Going with the shark theme, right? It's a fantastic film. And part of the reason it is a fantastic film is because of the music. Music is so important. And it can shape, it can take you, it can remind you of themes throughout the film, and it can do the opposite as well. And I believe that Bunny is an album that you'll hear on some sort of independent, like you said, Voyage of Discovery own film on Netflix, and this is the soundtrack you'll hear on the back of it that absolutely puts the final nail in the coffin of that film. I found it dreary. I found it extremely unoriginal. I mean, I could go through the whole album, I'm not going to, but Sleeping on My Own, the first track, well, that's just heavily influenced by the Lars. There She Goes, I think. Run to the Moon, was it? I can't even read my own writing. But the second track, that's something like, there's Something in the Air. The Revolution's Here, that one. I can't remember what that song's called, but it was like that. Call out the instigators, 'cause there's something in the air. Like that. And
that wasn't bad, much. That was quite nice. Maybe they should get you as a singer on that album, but there we go.
And then Don't Fade Away. I mean, that could be any Morrissey or the Smiths song that you choose, and obviously there's a reason for that. But I wish it would fade away. It's not a bad album if you like that thing. I cannot stand that sort of thing. Just, no, it's not my thing. So I don't want to say it's crap.
Well, don't forget, mate. This is down to our listening pleasure. Okay, it's not about anything else. It's down to our listening pleasure. No,
dreary, unoriginal. But if you like that thing, I'm sure it's got an audience.
Well, talk about dreary and uninteresting. Dave, then let's. Well, I've insulted the bottom three down here. I might as well carry on. Do you know what I mean? Let's be honest about it. But talk to me, Dave.
I really quite enjoyed this when it first started. I thought, it's something different. It's it's got a little bit of something different, bit of chill there, something to listen to when you're not in the mood for the hard rock sort of stuff. But it quickly got boring, and it would eventually send me to sleep. It's like getting beaten into a coma with a pillow. It's just if you like this sort of stuff, you'll probably really enjoy this album. But it's just it's just dreary. There's nothing to it, and it's just bland in it really. And it's I'd much prefer some hard rock. Give me some hard rock over this any day.
Okay, well, you're all absolute idiots because this album is worse than anything that any of you have said, really, to be perfectly honest with you. I have no redeeming factors on this album at all. It was... now, in fairness, Paul is right. In terms of production, it is really good. The sound quality is fantastic. It's all right. If you like that sort of thing, it's just okay. And obviously, when I'm trying to match them up against Noel Gallagher, I listened. Obviously, the album wasn't released, so I could only have a quick snapshot of one song, and they sounded. You're absolutely right. They said, "Oh, that sounds a little bit different, kind of indie rocky kind of thing." And of course, that's it. It's done. We published it. That's who we're reviewing, and I kind of it's a bit difficult, but it's just like I can't name a song. There was nothing that went onto my cool playlist. There's nothing that would want me to go back and listen to this album again. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you guys are right. If it's your sort of thing, it's a well written, but it's just melodically just send you to sleep. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Okay, well, they're up against a very unknown band coming through the ranks with an unknown artist. If you've not heard of him, his name is Noel Gallagher. And the band is High Flying Birds, Council Skies. So the band are an English rock band formed in 2010 as a solo moniker. Foremost, oh my God, he's Oasis songwriter. I didn't know that. Lead guitarist and co-vocalist Noel Gallagher. Touring band consists of former Oasis member Gem Archer, guitar, Mike Rowe piano, Chris Sharrock drums, and former Zootons member Richard Pritchard bass. The band has also a variety of guest contributors to albums. Anyways, since his departure in 2009, many speculated that Gallagher might record a solo album, and in 2008 a press conference confirming this after dying rumours of his brother Liam had already heard the tracks featured on it. Later, Noel released the project self-titled album, and several singles from the album were released, including The Death of You and Me. Look, we're going to go on and on and on. We all know who Noel Gallagher is, and obviously with the band that he's in. Now, next month I'll just put it out there straight away. Next month, Blur releasing their album, and I was always a Blur man of Noel Gallagher. I wanted to review this album because I wanted to get this monkey off my back, because I'm not a fan of Oasis, and so I think I personally needed to listen to this album, and I personally needed to go, well, let's review this from a completely neutral, or try to get over that and give it a fair crack of the whip. So let's start then with Paul. So Paul, Noel Gallagher's High Flying Circus. What did you think? And were you an Oasis or Blur man? Let's be honest. The other thing.
Well, I liked them both, but I thought Oasis had stronger songs, and of course Noel Gallagher wrote most of those. So Wonderwall and all that. Anyway, I saw Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds on Jules Holland's show a couple of weeks ago. They played the latest single, backed with a small orchestra in the background. And as I fumbled for the remote to turn off the telly, I had one thought running through my mind: this sounds like Oasis watered down to the point of being a pop song. And so when I first listened to this album, Council of Skies, the same thought kept running through my mind. It turns out the whole album is the whole album is a mature melodic pop album. There is humour and irony throughout the melodic, often orchestral back songs, with a watered-down Oasis sound and tone. As a pop album, Sky Councils is up there with the likes of Roy Orbison and whoever you want to match this type of music to. As a rock album, in the words of Noel himself, he would probably use is "You're having a laugh."
Okay, so okay, not too bad then. Ian, what did you think of Noel Gallagher?
So, I've not addressed the fact that I can't stand Oasis, and this absolutely put a lorry right in front of me. I've got to decide: am I going to swerve and move out of the way and avoid it yet again, or am I going to take the full impact and deal with this in my own head once and for all? So Oasis, music for the masses. It's the Beatles reinvented. Not a huge fan of the Beatles sound, although I absolutely respect what they brought to the music industry completely. And exactly the same with Oasis to a degree. I'm not a fan, but I do appreciate what they did, or what Noel did, it turns out. I've never been a music for the masses type, that whole dreary, like, no. And I hate when I'm at weddings or something and So Sally Can Wait, or whatever the hell that song's called, comes on and I'm singing along with it and I'm like, oh my good Lord, this is such a good song and I hate it. Why do I hate but it's such a good song. It's a great pop song. Absolutely. So I really had to fight and move Oasis out of my head and try and look at this objectively as Noel Gallagher, not one half of Oasis. And what I found from this album was either this Noel Gallagher wants to recreate that Oasis sound and get back to where it is without his brother, and make it great. Because to be honest with you, one of the things turned me off was Liam Gallagher's attitude. I think it turned a lot of people off. Anyone that spits at the audience doesn't deserve any accolades or anything. It's vile. It's disgusting. I believe it's a criminal offence as well. So it's wrong. So that either that or it actually says how brilliant Noel Gallagher is, and I can't work out the two. Is Noel Gallagher carrying on because he's so good and it sounds like Oasis, or is he really good but trying to recreate the Oasis sound and that sort of euphoria that came with it for him in that? I also question the album title, Council Skies. That could be really politically incorrect. I don't know what Council Skies mean. The album cover shows the sky over what typically looks like a council estate or former council housing. Is that what it means, or is it something different? I don't know. And he doesn't explain it in the album, or they don't explain it in the album. apart from meeting the love of their life under the council skies. So maybe it's an homage and go back to the roots, and that's where you find yourself and find, I don't know. Overall, didn't really like it. I did find it sounded too much like Oasis, and which I guess it was always going to do maybe. But I found that the last song, We're Gonna Get There in the End, was fun. I loved it. It's another great pop song, but this isn't a rock album, I don't think. Yeah, I don't know what else to say, to be honest. I'm so confused with it.
Dave.
Yes.
What did you think? Were you an Oasis fan?
I was an Oasis fan. I was, again, like Paul, very much. I quite liked Blur, quite liked Oasis. I tend to lean a little bit more towards the Blur side of things, but that was mainly because of Liam Gallagher. I think with Oasis, I think Noel Gallagher told his mum he was going to start a rock band, and she said, "Well, yeah, make sure you take your brother with you," because that's the only reason he's in there, because he's got no talent. And this album, I absolutely love this, and I think it's because Noel Gallagher's songwriting always appealed to me. I much preferred his vocals over Liam's in Oasis, and this is just, as Paul said as well, very mature songwriting throughout. I really, really enjoyed it. I listened to this sort of twice on the bounce the first time I listened to it. There's so many great tunes here. I mean, I love Pretty Boy, great song, Easy Now, and Council Skies. I think there's some standout tracks there. But yeah, I mean, this is one that will get listened to for some time to come. It definitely appealed to me, this one.
Really, that's surprising, because looking at your style of music, this is kind of quite melodic and laid back, really. Not what I would say for your style.
I mean, it's interesting. I mean, I will listen to all sorts. I mean, I think that comes with being friends with Chris. I mean, his taste in music, as you know, is a bit all over the fucking place. And I think some of that has definitely rubbed off. So, I mean, yeah, I think it's a really good album. I mean, the question is whether it's a rock album or not. Rock comes in many different forms. It's the argument of whether the Beatles were a rock band as well. I mean, it kind of, that same sort of thing. I think they were, personally. I mean, but
it's a tricky one, because it's definitely a pop rock album, isn't it? So
yeah, I mean, it's definitely on the more pop side of things. Yeah.
Well, we appear to have lost Trish for a second, so I'll kind of jump in with my analogy. Not analogy, but review. I'm exactly the same as Ian in terms of having to. I think your description of having to take this on, because I don't want it to avoid potential albums coming out where Noel Gallagher's involved in them, and very much I think, but like you two, I absolutely, when I look back at it, despise Liam Gallagher. I absolutely, genuinely don't. I mean, I don't know him as a person, so he might be lovely, but. I hated the singing style. I hated, and you're absolutely right, Ian. You end up singing to Wonderwall and stuff. You go, oh, for God's sake! But the actual songwriting, composition of the song is amazing. The actual delivery of the song and the way it's performed is really what kind of gets me. So you can't deny that Oasis delivered some cracking tunes. I mean, there's no denying that, and that does obviously come down to Noel Gallagher's singing, who, unfortunately, he's a Man City fan, and that's a major problem for me. But hey, I can get over that. So really, I needed as well to get that monkey off my back, because, am I disliking the music because of the music, or am I disliking it because of the performance that was delivered under Oasis? And obviously Blur, I preferred Blur because I think it was quirky, it was more rocky. But it is a rock album, but it's a very mellow kind of pop rock album, really, from that perspective. Was it any good? No, it wasn't. Did I enjoy it? No, I didn't. Did I appreciate it? Yes, I did. I think that if it was a bit more up tempo, I think I might have got it. But I was waiting for it to kick in, and it never really did. But it was. It was it wasn't my cup of tea. Let's put it that way. I didn't hate it. I didn't dislike it intensely. That I thought, well, really, I want to turn it off. And believe me, next month when we listen to some albums and we review some albums, you will want to turn it off before you get to the end. I did not want to turn this album off. I wanted to listen to it. It was mellow. It was chilled. It was relaxed. But it wasn't my cup of tea. But I think I would listen to Noel Gallagher. I would give it a go. In the past, up until this album now, I would not even deem to even. No, I would just turn it off. I wouldn't do that. So I think for me, I've kind of got over that aspect of it to be able to do that. So well, we appear to have lost Trish on that score. So the question here then is which are we going to buy? I know where Trish is going.
I don't know if she did just text me and say she's going to restart and see if she can rejoin. She could see us. She could see us.
She could see us, but she could. And she said, and here she comes live. She had a moment. We're just going to pin you back on there, Trish, and welcome back. You're on mute. There we go. Welcome back.
Sorry, I don't know what happened. You could see you guys, but I'll crack on. Noel Gallagher's High Flying Bird, Council Skies. The album started off okay with Council Skies, but it just didn't have the trademark Flying Birds opener to hook you in to their trademark sound like on previous albums with tracks like The Death of You and Me, In the Heat of the Moment and The Ballad of the Mighty, to mention but a few, and which I really like. Noel is a great singer and has found his own sound away from Oasis days, but you can't help but compare and hear the Oasis sound on the track Easy Now. They are definitely taking a different direction with this album in an Elbow-esque way is my best way to describe it.
Yeah, I like that description.
Elbow are good at what they do, and I would like Noel and his High Flying Birds to go back to what they do best, like on their previous albums. Sometimes change in direction is good and works, but for me this just didn't. But that's my personal opinion. It's not a bad album musically, to give it some positivity, as I don't like to be negative. But compared to some of the dross we've been exposed to the podcast over the few years, this could be in there.
Okay, right. Let's get our ratings then. Trish, we started with you with a bit of Bunny, and let's hop to it.
1.
Paul, you're on mute, bruv.
Apologies, a 0.
A 0 for. And Dave.
1.
And Ian.
It's a 1 from me.
It's also 1 from me as well.
Ouch.
That's a total of 4. It's right down there. I think it could be right down there with Arctic Monkeys people.
But will it win the face-off?
I don't know. Check that out. Certainly not our cup of tea. Right, Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds. Paul.
I'm going to give it a 2.5.
Dave.
I'll go on then 5.
Wow. I thought you might.
In literally probably 120 albums that Dave has reviewed with us, roughly about half of what we've done, that's his third ever 5. That is his third ever 5.
Wow.
And it's just a shame that it's just wasted. Just saying.
Yeah. I don't think it's Hall of Fame bound.
Ian.
I'm gonna stick with what I said originally, which is a 3. I want to drop it, but I can't because I don't want that Oasis thought in my head blighting my view. I didn't dislike it. I didn't like it. There was nothing stand out. It was an okay album. There's nothing that detracted from it. Nothing that really drew me in, apart from we're going to get there in the end. So I gave it half an extra point for that. So middle of the road plus half a point. So okay, 3.
That's fine.
Sticking to the guns.
And 2.
2 for me as well, which was 1.5 more than I thought I'd give it. So it's a bonus. So by healing, I'm healing. Okay, I am healing. Me and healing. Definitely, and this is Mutual People and Journeys. So this is a journey. We have to take these steps of recovery from Liam Gallagher, you know, and it's a step forward in our rehabilitation. So.
Well, I think one thing that this particular album has demonstrated me, and I love being part of this podcast, and I hope that people listening as well are look at the albums and perhaps play along as well. But what I found is that, especially with things like this, is when there's a herd mentality about something, one way or the other, you do get swept up with it. You have to be really strong, independently minded to be able to break away that and have your own opinion when something is so mass. But by doing this podcast, I've learned so much more about what I like about music and the different types that I feel I can step away and objectively look at stuff now that perhaps I've been swept along or gone against something because it was media. It's like that Game of Thrones moment. No one wanted to watch it because it was so popular, but then everyone watched it eventually, and most people are like, oh my God, it's amazing.
Well, sometimes there's a reason why something's so popular, and then other times. And music is one of those, because I listen to everything, everybody raves about a particular band or something, like you listen to it and you go like, I think somebody wrote, because I play a song contest, and somebody wrote like, yeah, you're all telling me that this winning song is the best song in there, but my heart and soul are telling me something completely different. And you know, so music is not is there for the masses, but equally it's under how we individually interpret it. But there we go. But without, I mean, there's like a whitewash, isn't it? All of us are white. Noel Gallagher.
I'm following on from me, and I got to give it to Dave to give sticking the finger up to the rest of us on the panel. So
yeah.
But it's just one that, as I say, it just resonated with me for some reason compared to others, and I was well under the impression when I listened to it that I was like, I can see this not doing well in other people's eyes, so it's just like it's going to be a wasted 5, as you say, Nigel. But
it's a wasted 5 in terms of the overall score, but it's not a wasted 5 in terms of like. In terms of
Your
when we publish this and Noel Gallagher's lawyers come knocking on the door, then we have a redeeming factor. You know, in there. Well, Dave giving a 5, so you might well be our saving grace from the Hey Fan. But actually, no, in fairness, 14.5 is a decent score. It's over average. It's more than after when I listened to it, it's more than I thought it was going to get. So I'm delighted to say that. It's just like music is our cup of tea, though, isn't it? So it's down to our listening pleasure. Our vote is our listening pleasure. But anyway, there we go. So,
if we do invite Noel Gallagher for an interview and he somehow miraculously accepts it, can you ask him to explain what Council Skies actually is in his eyes?
Sure. And if anybody listens out there that know what that means, that'd be great. We could do a bit of research on it. But in the meantime, thank you very much for joining us. Please, if you like what you hear, controversial or not, please like and subscribe our channel on YouTube. Go to our Facebook page, MPJ, and check us out. With tons of viewing. We're now coming up to nearly 250 album reviews coming up there. And thank you very much to my wonderful panel, to Paul, to Ian, to Trish, and to Dave. Thank you very much today, guys. Keep on rocking, everybody out there. Keep safe. All the best. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.